CBT News, your number one resource for auto industry news and content. You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of Inside Automotive right here at CBT Automotive Network. Today I am joined by John Fitzpatrick, who is the president and CEO of Force Marketing. You've seen him here before, folks, on CBT News. And John, you are going to be, I guess, part of the keynote for the Automotive Forum, the JD Power Automotive Forum in New York, coming up in just a month. It's a month away. And you're going to be joined by Senator Bernie Moreno. Right? The title of it is The Return of the Golden Age of Automotive Retail.
That's right.
So talk to us about that.
Yeah, Bernie Moreno, been a longtime friend of mine, and we had the opportunity to work with all of his stores when he was a dealer. And so our relationship goes back over a decade. And now he's a U.S. Senator and the first car guy, the first car dealer in the Senate to make it to the Senate. And he's got a big agenda for the auto industry.
Sure.
And he's following President Trump's agenda as well. And he has a big belief that we need to bring manufacturing jobs back to Ohio first, because he's an Ohio senator, but certainly to the United States.
Right.
And, he's got some opinions on, tariffs and where that will lead us, and a variety of other things, including one of his initiatives. He wants to make the automotive industry a subcategory, a subcommittee of Congress, and I think that's an important thing for us to have. And,
for sure.
And just a variety of other areas that he really wants to focus on, that he ran on, that he wants to stay committed to.
Right.
Our angle is, here's two longtime friends chatting it up, and hopefully we can be, we can bring some authenticity.
Right.
I know that's another initiative of his, is to be very transparent, very open, very authentic.
Right. Oh, he tells
he
it
knows
like
it no other way.
When he's on the floor or on those committees, drilling those witnesses and those people that appear before the committees, he doesn't hold back.
He doesn't. And, he's got such a, I was just on the phone with him the other day. He's like, John, I got a newfound energy. And I am deeply committed to the honor that is having that seat, and the responsibility that weighs on him when he's driving into work every single day. A little bit different than when he was a dealer.
Oh yeah, of course,
a little bit different feeling. And he's jacked up to make some real impact, some real changes for the better.
And I think he's not alone. With most of the people that came to Washington under the Republican side anyway, a lot of the Trump appointees, they're rolling up their shirt sleeves and they're making waves big time.
We're going to talk about all of those things at the Auto Forum, and I think it'll be very beneficial for anyone in attendance. Certainly that has interest in the auto industry, because that'll be a majority of the focus.
Well, the number one thing on everybody's mind, and I'm sure it's going to be the number one question during the Q&A, will be, Senator Moreno, what about these tariffs? And while he's not here right now, what I'd like to get what your opinion is on this, and what are you feeling? I mean, you work with hundreds of dealers all over the country. What's the consensus out there among your clients? Do they spend money on marketing? Do they not? What's the future look like? We just came off of a couple of very difficult months, although I spoke to a dealer today that's got a number of stores in the Midwest, and he said, we're having just a phenomenal March. He doesn't know what happened. In fact, his take was that inadvertently that he thinks Trump's tariffs might have been a good thing, because people are now racing into the dealership. He feels that, based on his conversations that he's had with a number of his customers, that I better get the car now and not hold off on the decision, because it could cost me 25% more.
Yeah. Now we work with close to 1,500 dealers nationwide. No area of concentration in brand or region. Okay. And so what we are seeing by and large is that same feeling, that it is bringing the buyer that was sort of in market to market, right? And I think, look, if that's what it does in the short term, if it's just sort of this feeling of the consumer that, hey, I better go ahead and make that purchase, I better go ahead and trade that vehicle in, I think short term that's fine. We're all okay with that, right? I think where we all have some concerns, and hopefully Bernie can answer some of his feelings or his unique perspective on this, is what does this mean long term, right? I think short term, right, we're sort of watching an active negotiation play out, right, before our very eyes, between President Trump and the rest of the world. I think, long term, what does this mean? Look, I think if the tariffs stay in place long term, this is just my personal belief, we certainly will see jobs coming back in a big way, right? You're going to see commitment to plants. You've already seen a lot of the OEMs sort of recommit, hey, you know what, we're going to move that plant. We're going to put it in the United States, where before we were going to take it to Mexico or another country. Sure. So I think that there's an opportunity for this to play out in a good way. Will there be, will the changes, require some changing sentiment, for sure. Of course it will. And maybe a little pain here and there, potentially. Big changes sometimes require that, and this is something that I think has been needed to at least be on the docket. But I'm really, interested to see, how Bernie answers some of these questions for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think I can speak for most of the industry out there when I say it's great to have Bernie in place there, representing retail automotive, even more specifically retail automotive, as I said, because it's not like he's coming from the OEM side and as a former president or vice president of a large brand. He's representing the dealer side, right? Which we've needed for a long time in this industry.
And the dealers represent the consumer. They're in the hyper-local market. They're where the sort of rubber meets the road, if you will. And another thing, right off the bat, right? He said, hey, we're going to have 30 offices across Ohio. I was at his swearing in. He told all of the people that were there, I'm having 30 offices across Ohio. We're going to answer every phone call, every text, and every email in 24 hours.
Wow.
That's the way he ran his business. That's what got him from one store to 15 stores. Is just that customer experience being top notch. His belief is, why can't we bring that to government, right? Where it's the most important. You've got folks asking about their way of life, right? In some cases. And he wants to at least make sure that they respond quickly, and that they've got their best interest at heart. And he's done just that so far. I mean, look, it's only been 55, 60 days, something like that. So we'll see if he can continue that pace, but so far so good.
It is interesting to see a guy like Elon Musk, who's so close to the president and head of Doge, making these cuts and such, not making a lot of friends out there. And as a result, Tesla stock and the product has come way, way down. And now, in fact, they're talking about taking away the tax benefits in buying an EV, which is kind of funny because you've got their Elon Musk right there, and yet they're saying, let's do away with that. And I know Bernie's a proponent of that as well. Why are we giving tax incentives to a family or somebody that's going to buy a $100,000 EV? Maybe that individual doesn't need a $7,500 tax advantage, which everyone else, to his point, is subsidizing. You and I are subsidizing that tax benefit.
That's right. Look, it was I think originally designed to be a stimulus to get people to consider the EV product. I think we're way past that. I think my opinion is, and what I'm seeing in the data is, many consumers are considering an EV or some version. Maybe it's a plug-in, hybrid EV. And all of the different options that they have as consumers. It's done that. We need to take the next chapter of this.
And so the voucher or the tax benefit was a way to kickstart it, to say, hey, try it out, get out there. But now with all manufacturers providing EVs and everybody talking about them, and we see EV sales up pretty substantially.
9% last year, right?
Yeah, for 2024.
It's beginning to really gain steam, and I think it's a great option for the consumer to have. I think Toyota, in many cases, many have said, was right on this. Jack Hollis was out there running around saying it's an option. Let's not just pivot everything.
That's right.
Let's not mandate.
And probably a plug-in hybrid or
all
hybrids
of these things,
will be the
but
bridge.
is it a great option? Of course it is.
Sure.
And I think that's likely where the future will take us.
Yeah, right. So for those watching us have this discussion, you're not going to want to miss it. It's the JD Power Forum. It is always just a stellar event. JD Power puts on incredible events, as many of you dealers know. This is going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. Obviously, John's going to be there along with Bernie Moreno, who's going to be giving us some great information about what's happening in DC. And what happens in DC trickles down to your dealership and so many other entities out there. So we want to know what's happening. It's going to be just a great event. But again, JD Power Forum, it's going to be at the Javits Center. It's on April 15th. It's a full one-day event. And of course, you can also attend the New York Auto Show the very next day, which, as you know, that too is an amazing event that the Greater New York Auto Dealers Association puts on. And so check it all out and make your reservations now. You're not going to want to wait on that. But so John Fitzpatrick, President, CEO of Force Marketing, thanks so much for stopping in. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you out there. We'll be there.
Yeah, same here. Looking forward to it.
We happen to be one of the media sponsors. So we'll be there set up. If anybody comes by, please stop by and say hello to us. So thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.